Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our employees management system. So as you can see here, we have our email and passwords. I'm just going to sign in. So this is how our dashboard looks like. So in our previous video, we have been actually enhancing our look and feel for our employees management system. So as you can see here, you can provide the department name, key in some names, and you can register the department. Then on deletion, you can also see you can delete it. Then, so what you are going to do, I think there is an error. So let's just check what is the error about. So let me just move this. So I want us to check. So here you see we need to actually, when deleting, so that was department. When deleting a department, we need to actually pass the user who is actually logged in. So if you go to departments, so here, then check on the delete. Then here, you see this is remove save changes. We need actually the user who is logged in. So how do that? Then we take the logged in user here. Then we have them here. Where is it? So this is the delete confirmed. We need to actually pass the user ID here. So that will work. So if we just now try, you should now be able to pass the user ID whenever you are deleting any record, inserting, updating, and doing anything. So we've done this because we want to be tracking the audit trail. So if I just go to save changes, so these are the on before changes, we are actually logging what the activity of the user, whether there is a delete or even there is an add, update, and the rest. So if I just go to departments and click on delete, so I should now be able to delete that particular record. So you can see it is deleted. So we've been enhancing our look and feel. For the designations, you can also add the designation, then you save. So you can see these are the designation and you can edit. Then you have the approval entries. So this is how our approval entries look like. You can add a new entry. So you select the employee. So you'll be changing this to departments. So for those who requested for that, then if you save, then that is cool. So if we click on edit, you realize that our look and feel for the edit is not well aligned. So this is what we are trying to change and ensure that we have our application looking a bit better. So if you go to our code, so let's just go to our designations. So I'll just go to designations here. Then under create, I'm going to reuse what we have under create. So let's check. This is actually approval user matrix. So if you go to approval user matrix, we are going to, so let's just check here. So approval user matrices. Then if you go to edit, we need to update this here. So we'll just paste this here. Then we call this edit. Then I'll be changing this to, so here we can do MD6. Then I can copy these, have it here, copy these, have it here, copy these as well. So we should actually even have this here. Then I can also, so for the created by and the modified by, so I'll be removing these fields here. So I don't want them there. Then I can actually close my tags. So if I just format that, so I'll remove that and I need to close also here. So I can format those ones. So as you can see, I still have some closing tags that I need to add. So you should ensure that all the tags are closed. So if we check at the top, so this is update user matrix. So here you should say also update user matrix. So if we do that, then we should be good to go. So what we need to also do, I need to add some our created by and modified by and the created on here. So we don't need to change the details of the past activity that was done. So I also need to borrow some buttons here. So I'll just borrow this. If I go to edit here, I'll go to and actually replace them here. So we just need here, say update matrix. And that is how our app looks like. But now, before even going there, we can go to our controller, then under approval user matrix, you can see here whenever we are saving, we are actually updating these three. So the same case should apply whenever we are updating. So I'll just do here and remove this. Then if I just zoom, then on the updates, I can also do it here. So I do modified by. So we are actually accessing now the user is logged in and the modified on. So if I do that, then we have that. But also we need to remove the binding. We need to remove something here. So when we try to save this, or we can actually remove, so let's just do away with this. Or let me just, instead of doing away, let's do this. Here you can do dot remove. Then we can actually pass the modified by, not ID, but modified by and created by. So these are classes that, so here we say created by. So if we do this and try to update our details, we should now be able to update. So let's just launch and see how that looks like. So if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video and comment down below. So I'm going to launch in our app. So then if I just sign in, I should be able to see the dashboard. So you see there. Then if I just come to, where is it? Approval user matrix. Then I do add. You see this is how our form looks like, which is okay. So if we say edit, this is how our form looks. So if we say update, it's not kind of updating. So let's just check. So here, you realize that once we click update, this changes to strings. And these also are integers, and this is an int. Reason being, we need to actually use what we have here. So this one, when you are creating, we need this one here. We need this one here. And I know we need to remove, I don't know if we have that. So that's okay. So also we need that here. So instead of IDs, you see this is IDs, but we need to be using descriptions. So that's why it is giving us the description, that is the numbers. So you see I've changed this to description here, full name, and you should now be good to go. So if we put in a breakpoint here, so let's just relaunch and see how that looks like. So you notice 90% of you guys are watching our videos and you haven't subscribed. So if you're one of them, please consider subscribing, like the video, comment down below, and let's just push this channel to reach more audience. So I log in there. Then if I go to approval user matrix, then say edit. So if I click on update, so we need to have our breakpoint. There we go. So if we click that, you'll see our breakpoint is saying false. Why is it saying false? So we have something called document type. We have the workflow user group, and also, so I have these two. So workflow user group, so I need to remove them from here. So I can do that. Then I can just copy them from here. So this is a document type. I'll have it there. The reason as to why this is happening is because we are not using a view model. So we can actually, we'll be adopting MVVM a way of doing things, then that will be gone. So let's just relaunch our app again and see. So we should now be able to update our workflow user group details. So I'm just launching my app. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe. And in case you need this particular source code, you can claim the source code using the link down below. So I'll just go to workflow user group. It's actually on approval user matrix. So if I edit, do that, then click save, you should be able to see that is valid. It says it is actually still false. So let's see what is, so all the others are okay. So we have username. So user is still there. So you can do here user. So if I just say user, then we should now be good to go. So let me just launch again. So we'll be changing this to actually use view model, and we'll be using automapper to actually map data from one object to another. So I'll just launch this. So then if we go to approval user matrix, edit, then click update, go back here, we should see it is actually now true. Unless this is true, then you should be able to proceed. If it is false, you cannot do anything. So you see we have an error for update. That means if you go back to our approval user matrix, we didn't supply the user ID. We need to supply the user ID here on save changes. Then our details will be saved. So let's just relaunch again. So that is a simple way of actually updating this. So we are actually almost done with the look and feel of our employees management system. So we'll be enhancing and putting some more modules as we go along. So let's just launch our app and see how this goes along. So I'll just go back here. Then if I just say approval user matrix, then edit, then we say update, you see it is now working. So add button is okay. So we can add another one. So you see that's cool. So if we go to approval user groups, you see we have the details here. So if we say add, our form is okay. So if we go to back, if we do edit, this is where the problems is. So let's just do the workflow user group again. So if you go to here, we have the workflow user group. The create form is okay. So I'm going to let me just copy the one that we've been using. So that is the here. So I'm going to copy this. So if we go back here to edit, I'll update this as well. So then you can do here MD6. Then I can also do this one. And I think that is, so this is workflow user group, and that is update workflow user group. So if we do edit, that is okay. So then I'll just close our form here. Then I can remove these and also close it here. So we need two of them. So if I do that, then we are good to go. So here you say update workflow user group. This is update workflow user group. So then what we need to do also here, so let's just check our workflow user group, how it is. So you see it has now department and all these other things. I think these are some of the information that we added, and we are going to add them on our edit form. I think it is not there on the edit form, but it is there when you are creating. So we need to copy this here. We need to copy this too. I think we added department and the document type. So if you go to edit, you should actually add these two as part of the fields. So I'll just so that's okay. So once you add that, if you go to create workflow user group, when you go to create, we realize that we have these two here. On edit, let's check on edit. I think we don't have these ones, so we need to add the view data, and that is on edit. So we have edit, get and post. So I'll just add on both sides. But now for the edit post here, I'll actually supply it with our document type ID. Then also on this other one, I will supply here with our department ID. So that should be cool. So if you edit, then also here, where is it here? So let's just copy this here, and we can replace. So we can replace it here. So you should ensure that whenever you edit, all the values that you had selected is actually pre-selected before doing anything. Now, remember we are saving, so we need the user ID here. So I don't know if the workflow user group had the add the created by. We didn't add that. So I think that's cool. So what we need here only is actually for the edit, I think we had added, we have the user ID. So let's just check the workflow user group model. So we need to remove department and document type. So if we just come here, I'll just do here model state.remove. Then I just do department. We close that. Then we can also do document type. Can also do document type. So once you do that, then we should now be able to edit our document, that is our workflow user group. So on deletion as well, you can also delete, but remember for deletion, you need to also supply the user who is logged in. So I'll just do here user ID, then I can supply the changes here. So let's just relaunch our app and see. So I'm going to relaunch. Then we should now be able to update the workflow user group ID, the details, and also you can delete. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like our video, comment down below. And in case you need the source code, use the link down below to claim the source code. So I'll go to workflow user group here. Then if I just click edit, you see it is now updated. And if I click save, everything is working as expected. So I can do here and I can save. So you see it is now salary advance. Let's change this one to salary advance. If we save, is it saving? So let's just check. It's actually this one, the description. Say here, test saving. So let's just confirm that. So you see test saving. So that is working. So if we do add new, that is also okay. So I think the next thing is the approval entries. So on approval entries, remember we've been adding all the items that we've been working, that is the changes that we've been working on in our application. So we have a lot of changes. So what I want us to do is I want us to add this in a data table. You see how it looks now? It is a bit awkward. So let's just go to our application. So let's just borrow the data tables, for example, like from cities. So I'm going to copy this table. Then we go to approval entries. Then I'm going to replace this here. So I think we had something wrong there, but it should be okay. So if I do that, then I save the changes. It should be when it, so you see it has been updated and we are now in a data table. So let's just remove all these particular details that we have here. So you have the last modified, we have the comments. So let's remove those comments and the things. So, and also open. So let's just remove that. So I'll remove here something called open, that particular action. I remove the last modified on these ones. Also the comments, we don't need the comments. Then I'll also remove these comments, last modified on, and I think that should be good. So if we update now, we should now be able to see our app looking a bit better. So this is how it looks. So we'll be looking at the buttons. So you see this is the delete button. This is how it looks now. Reject, this is how it looks. This is actually the details page of the approval, but we'll be adding the buttons here. So let's also because approval entries, you don't actually kind of create them. This is actually being created by the system. So if we say view, we need to also alter this particular table. So let's just do that. So we can borrow from what we've been having under the other modules. So and that is the table. So I want us to borrow this table. So let's just go to our table for the approval entries. So if we go to details page, so this is how it looks. So I'm going to copy this here and update that way. Then I'll also update this one. Do that. Let's close and I can remove this. Then I can also copy the buttons that we've been using for that is the back button, and I can replace it here. So that is my back button. So if we update, we should now be able to have this table in a different layout. You see, this is how it looks. So we can call this here. Can actually have this here as so let's have just T2. I mean H2. Then we say here approval entry details. So if we do that, update our app, then we should be good to go. So you see, this is how it looks. So if you click back, then we are back to our page. So I think we are now done with most of the areas, but we'll be improving this as we go along. So if you go to security under system audit logs, so this is also how it looks like. So let's just go there and also enhance this. So under audit logs, if I go back here, check on the views, then under system audit logs, so we have audits under index. I'm going to remove these old and new values because they're actually JSONs, so that might be long. So I remove that. Then we just retain the other details. So if I update this, we should now be able to see all those information. But there is one thing that you realize here. We have the user ID as the entry ID. But here, let's just confirm if the user ID, we can be able to get the names of those who actually were doing something in the system. So here, I'll copy this here, and I can say here variable. So I'll say this variable audit logs equals to that, and I can close. Then we need to check if we have the user ID. So here we can say include. So you can say include. So then we can do x dot user. So do you have the user ID there? I don't think so. Let's just check on the audit trail. User ID. Yes. So we don't have the user ID here, but we can actually tag this to the application user, so that whenever we should be able to get the details of the person who logged in. So I'll just say here application, then public, I mean user. So application user, then I say here user, then you can do get set. So if we do that, then you should now be able to get the details of the user. So if you do that, remember always after you modify the model, you need to actually update your database. So first thing, you need to add migration. So you say audit logs details updated. So if we do that, then it should generate our migrations file. Then we should apply these changes to the database. So there is something wrong there. So let's just rebuild our app and see. So I think there is a bug somewhere. Yes. So let's just go back to our controller. I think we had introduced something in our controller and we left it. So let's just do this here. And you can add this here. So if we go back now, we should now be able to add our migrations. So after adding the migrations, then we need to update our database. So let's just run that and check if everything will be okay. So our migration is running, as you can see. Then we now have our migration file here. So the next thing is to update the database. So I'll just say update database and press enter. Then we'll be having our database updated with the new details. So after that, then we can always get the data of the user who is actually logged in. So you can see these are SQL commands that are being executed, and we should now be good to go. So if you go to our controller now under audit logs, audits, then here we can actually now say dot include. Then we can do here x, then can say user. So if we say user, then that means when you come to our index, we can actually say here user, then we can do full name. So we are now able to get the name of the person who actually did those particular changes that we see under the audit logs. So if we launch our app, let's just see how that looks like. So if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, like the video, comment down below. And in case you need the source code, you can claim the source code using the link down below. So you can see the users are now, we now have the names of the users who are logged in. So I think we'll leave it there for today. In our next episode, we'll be proceeding to enhance the application and ensure that we are covering all the modules that you guys want. That is it for today, and see you in our next episode. Bye.